Coach, how much did the turnovers disrupt your rhythm on both ends tonight?
Between turnovers and missed shots at the rim, you give them what it says on the stat sheet, 22 fast break points, but it's probably more than that just because they were on the break as we were missing shots. Love the fact that we were getting there, but now we've got to talk about what we've said from training camp, being able to convert our defensive stops into offense.
You guys only made three-pointers tonight, one for the first three quarters and not a single in the fourth. Just how was that? How do you explain what happened from beyond the arc tonight?
Some part of it is a make or miss league in that regard. I thought we got some great looks, but those are parts where you got to step in and knock them down. You give Chicago credit for the way they were flying around, but again, that's no excuses there. We've got to step in, knock shots down. We've got to attack the basket and finish with force and authority.
How do you guard against frustration if you are getting the looks that you want and kind of playing at the speed that you want? Or how do you fight against frustration that it's not, the process isn't working yet?
Process. You said the best word, process. If we weren't getting great looks and we weren't getting to the rim, then there's something to talk about. But the fact that we were getting downhill, touching the paint, getting in the paint, we've just got to focus on finishing now. And that's work that we can put in the gym. Those are extra shots, extra reps, working on our finishing. Those are pieces that we can continue to get better at.
You then make sure that frustration doesn't in the game in the moment bleed into the defense. Defense that seemed like kept you guys in the game to a certain point, but at some point it kind of cracked.
Yeah, it's a resilient team. Understand that it's not going to be your night every night from the shot making side, but the ability to sit and make sure we got to sit down and get stops, and that's what got us back in it. We strung a couple of shots together, but then you go down there, you don't convert it. It does take a toll, but for our guys understanding that, knowing that, it's something we can look at and then we'll fix.
Jace got his first minutes tonight, and it came at a time during the game where it seemed like there was an upward trajectory for you guys. What did you make of his minutes that you had?
Yeah, he just came in with a great amount of energy. He approaches the game every single day with a level of joy to just be on the floor, and I thought that was great for him. You heard the crowd when he checked in the game, and then we needed that energy tonight, and I think he provided that. He's not afraid of that moment, and again, it's the opportunity that he was ready to step into.
Just kind of expanding on going to Jace at that point, how much are you still trying to get a feel for the right lineups and rotations, especially with Jalen going to be in and out of the lineup for the early part of the season?
Well, I think you talked about this pregame, and I just do believe that as the beginning of the year starts, you're looking at rotation, what works on different teams, different times. We went big for a moment, that worked for a second, but there's just going to be a way to look at different lineups. Each team is doing this for these first few games until something sticks, and for us, it's going to keep fluctuating because of, we're going to need that for our guys to be ready to step into each moment.
What do you think didn't work tonight for Tyus? It just felt like he wasn't able to score tonight.
I thought Tyus, I think he started to set the tone early for our guys. I think we were getting out in transition. We were moving it. We were sharing it. Again, for that moment, it wasn't about what he was not providing. It was more saying, what can Jace get a moment here in which he provided that spark in that moment, and I thought that was good for us.
You guys talk so much about defending home court, back-to-back losses at home. What do you want to see when you guys go on the road now?
Come together and go win one on the road. It starts in Philly, and that's what we got to make sure we take care of that first.
How much? It's early in the season. This is your first back-to-back. How much does fatigue and getting into full-time playing time, you think, factor into some of the really misses that were right at the rim?
I think that may play some part, but we're not going to make any excuses about that. That's just something we've got to work on. We've got to concentrate, understand the work that we need to put in there, and get back into the gym and get back to the workload and make sure that that's something we're concentrating on.
You love to start the season at home, but you've got a 5-game road trip. What can the value of that bring at this point in the season?
Yeah, I think it brings the group together. There's camaraderie at the hotel, going to dinner, spending time on the road with one another. I think that's very important for this group, who's already close. But I think that is very important, going into an opposing gym and being able to come together to get the job done. Thank you all. Appreciate it.